Okay. Welcome to the Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples from the orchard for the second time beginning after Pesach 2014. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, second year of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe, Margaret Vogel, blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal or Vesach Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. And I think I pointed out last week that we started after Pesach 2014. I don't know the exact week or date that we started. I do remember, I think it was a week or 2 or 3 weeks after Pesach. So we are now starting our 12th year. We've completed our 11th year. We're starting a 12th year. The first time took us exactly 6 years. We finished Pesach. We finished right after Pesach. And now it's again after Pesach. We are starting our 12th year and the 6th year for the second time. Okay. Now, our school is traveling to Israel. My wife and I are chaperoning, so that'll be next week and the week after. We won't have a class unless I wake up get up at 1:30 a.m.
No,
and give the class. I'll give
No.
it.
Be in Israel.
What?
enjoy
Be in
Israel,
Israel.
enjoy Israel with the kids.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm kidding.
Be in Israel.
Thank you. When I do this, it's like I'm in Israel.
Yeah.
I spoke to Gershon last week, I think before Shabbos. No, a week ago. Yeah, they're doing well.
You're gonna see him?
Okay.
You're gonna see him?
I'll see him in June.
You won't see him in Israel?
Maybe, maybe not. Okay. I'm busy with the kids, like very hard. I can say
Yes.
hi and then that's it. Okay, page 870, fifth chapter of Va-etchanan. Avigail said she liked enjoying the 6:30. It is 6:30, right?
Yes,
Yes, sir. It's after.
6:36.
Correct.
Okay. So, number one, in the paragraph of Shema, the Torah directs us to keep the words of Torah in our hearts, to teach them to our children, and to speak of them. Often we study Torah, we go to a class, and we don't retain what we've learned. It can be very frustrating. Okay, bye. This chapter explains the merits of learning, even if you forget what you've learned. It also explains the Kabbalistic sources of forgetfulness. Okay, please begin with the intro, Alan.
Forgetfulness. And these words which I command you this day will be upon your heart. You shall teach them to your children and discuss them. This is the commandment to study the Torah.
Number two, sometimes people don't bother learning because they figure they forget what they learn anyway. This is used to justify why they don't spend more time studying Torah. They feel if they don't remember what they learn, their learning is wasted. Go ahead.
I'm going to write first about the concept of forgetfulness that people suffer from because they use it to justify the laziness and sleepiness that prevents them from studying the Torah, saying that, Hashem forbid, it's all just wasted effort since they forget everything anyway. We will therefore discuss forgetfulness and its mystical meaning.
Number three, as we know, there are 5 levels of the soul. They are, in order from the bottom up, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. Only the lower 3 enter the person. The Zohar teaches that a person is first given the lowest level Nefesh, and only if he merits, he gets the next level up, Ruach. Go ahead.
It is known that it says in the Zohar that a person is first given a nefesh, and if he merits more, he is given ruach, etc., etc. The soul comprises 5 levels, but only one is actively conscious in the person from birth, the nefesh, which governs the vital life processes and provides the person with the will to live and the urge to fulfill physical needs. Psychologically, nefesh is the actualization of the self, or the need and ability of self-expression. It therefore originates in the feminine principle, nukva, which is synonymous with self-awareness and ego, as we have discussed previously. As a person matures, higher levels of the soul become active in his or her consciousness.
Okay. So what did he say here? That nefesh is actualization of self, concrete, and that we also have spoken many times about that being the feminine principle, actualization and concreteness. Nefesh is associated with the feminine principle, and that's where forgetfulness occurs. He will keep forgetting so long as he does not achieve the next level, ruach. Ruach is associated with the masculine principle, which is associated with memory. Interesting to note that the Hebrew words for remember and masculine are identical, zachar. I have not seen a connection between these two words anywhere else, how that zachar is remember or memory, and zachar is also male. Here's the only place where it connects them. In fact, I should mention that there's a story in the Gemara where, remember the old days they studied from scrolls, they started from Torahs, and there was a word in the Torah that is zecher, to remember, and someone misread it as zachar, male or masculine. This commentary here connects memory with emotions. So I do want to say, I guess that means that Zeir Anpin is the masculine, and it says here that memory is connected with masculine. So Zeir Anpin are the emotions. Maybe that's the connection. So I do want to add here that cognitive science also sees a strong connection between the two, between memory and emotions. We remember events or conversations when there is a strong emotion connected with it. If you're wondering why you remember this event so vividly, or this conversation so vividly, often it's because there's strong emotions, and that's what imprints in your brain. Students retain what they learn better if the teacher creates an emotional component to learning. I think this is the emotions where the amygdala gets involved. Okay. Alan, continue. Page 871.
The nefesh comes from the feminine principle, and forgetfulness occurs in it. As long as a person has not achieved the revelation of the level of ruach, which comes from the masculine principle and embodies the principle of memory, he keeps forgetting things. Ruach is the emotional aspect of the soul, and thus originates in the midos, or Zeir Anpin, the male principle. The word for male, zachar, is related to the verb to remember, zachor. Forgetfulness, at least with regard to Torah study, is thus attributable to unchecked ego, the person being more interested in himself than in Hashem and his wisdom. And the antidote is a selfless emotional attachment commitment to what one is learning.
Okay. Okay, 5. When a person studies Torah, he repairs his nefesh, the lowest level of the soul. Even if he forgets what he learns, he will be reminded of it in the world to come and in the era of Mashiach. So God forbid you are not wasting your time if you don't retain the Torah that you learn. Go ahead.
Now, a person works on rectifying his nefesh through the efforts he expends in learning the Torah. And even if he forgets what he learns, it is not wasted effort, Hashem forbid. For in the world to come, in the messianic future, he will be reminded of all the Torah learning that he forgot, as the sages state. The world to come is synonymous with Gan Eden, or paradise, the abode of the soul after death. The messianic future is the rectified physical world that will exist after Mashiach comes, and at some point after that, the dead are resurrected.
Okay, number 6. If a person does not remember what he learns, it is not his fault. It's because his nefesh is not repaired and he doesn't have ruach yet. It is simply the way Hashem made us. In the book, they kind of write that it's Hashem's fault. But you'll see when we read it. But his learning does not go to waste. It is the process that will repair his nefesh. When that is done, he will be given ruach. Alan, if now.
If now, during his lifetime, he forgets things, it is because Hashem makes him forget due to his lack of ruach. But in the meantime, he is rectifying his nefesh, known as the feminine principle, and it is not, Hashem forbid, wasted effort. He is obligated to first rectify his nefesh, and only after that is he given the ruach. Rabbi Shalom Sharabi points out that it is also necessary to avoid things that the sages say impede memory, and that if a person tries to learn something but fails to understand it, it will be explained for him in the world to come.
Next line.
This is the first principle you must know.
One moment. Oh, and one more line.
The second principle involves understanding what forgetfulness actually is.
Okay, here we're getting into a lot of numbers. 7. Abba, thank you, Alan. Abba and Ima are the sphirot of intellect, obviously. They are connected respectively with the names Havaya and Ekyeh, with expanded spelling of Yud. Forgetfulness is from the backside of Abba and Ima. The expanded spelling of Havaya is, so the Yud, 10 plus 6 plus 4, Hey, 5 plus 10, Vav, 6 plus 10 plus 6, and the final Hey, 5 plus 10, is 20 plus 15, plus 22 plus 15, 72. We've had that many times. The expanded spelling of Ekyeh is, I missed that word.
Mhm.
2 words. Is Aleph, 1 plus 30 plus 80, Hey, 5 plus 10, Yud, 10 plus 6 plus 4, and Hey, 5 plus 10 is 111, plus 15 plus 20 plus 15 is 161. 72 and 161 is 233, the same as Zachor, remember. In Zachor, 7 plus 20 plus 6 plus 200 is 233. Jim, continue, page 872.
Know that forgetfulness originates in the back of Abba and Ima, for it is known that their fronts are manifest respectfully as the name Chavaya and Ekyeh, spelled out with a letter Yud. The numerical value of both of them is the same as that of the word for the imperative remember, Zechor, 233. Chavaya spelled with a letter Yud, Yud Vav Daled, Hey Yud Vav, Yud Vav, Hey Yud, 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10, plus 6 plus 10 plus 6 plus 5 plus 10, 72. Ekyeh, spelled out with the letter Yud, Aleph Lamed Pei, Hey Yud, Yud Vav Daled, Hey Yud, 1 plus 30 plus 80, 5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10 equals 161. 172 plus 161 equals 233. Zachor. Zion Kaf Vav Resh 70 plus 20 plus 6 plus 200. 233.
Okay, now memory comes from Abba and Ima, which are represented by I think we just said that in 7. There's some repetition here. So memory and learning comes from Abba and Ima, which are represented by the first 2 letters of Havaya, Yud, and Hey. These 2 letters are contained in the word for memory. The word for memory is Zechira, which can be divided into 2 words, Zachar, Yud, Hey. Remember, and the letters Yud, Hey. Memory is from the front of Abba and Ima, which makes sense because memory depends on a person focusing his attention. As we said, the expanded spelling of Havaya and Ekya is 72 and 161. Together, they equal 233, the value of Zachor, remember. Okay, continue.
This is because remembering comes from them, as indicated by the fact that the word for remembering, Zechirah, can be seen as compounded, or as the compounding of the words remember, Zecher, and the name Ka. From remembering is from the front of Abba and Ima, who are called Ka, whose numerical values are 72 and 161. Zechira, Zion, Kaf, Yud, Resh, Hey, Zecher Ka, Zion, Kaf, Resh, Yud, Hey. The divine name Ka is also the first half of the name Havaya, and thus its 2 letters signify Chachma and Bina. Remembering is thus rooted in taking a frontal attitude to Chachma and Bina by paying attention to what is being learned.
Okay, 9. It makes sense then that to forget is associated with the back of Abba and Ima. We've had a value that our book calls regressive iteration. In Hebrew, it is called ribua, squared, or acharayim, backwards. We use both terms. In this value, we take the first letter plus the first 2 letters plus the first 3 letters plus all 4 letters. That looks like A plus AB plus ABC plus ABCD. Another way to present it is the first letter 4 times, the second letter 3 times, the third letter twice, and the last letter once. That's 4 times A plus 3 times B plus 2 times C plus D. The first time he switched when we learned this maybe 10 years ago or 8, 9, 10 years ago, and he switched the format of how you show it, and took me a while to figure out that it's another way of saying the same thing. The backward value or regressive iteration of Havaya and Ekya are 184 and 544. So Yud K Vav K, Havaya. So the first letter is Yud. That's 4 Yuds, 4 times 20. Hey is 15. That's 3 times 15. Vav is 22, 2 times 22. And then the last letter is 15. That's 184. The word Ekia, so Aleph Lamed Pei is 111. 1 plus 30 plus 80. So that's 4 Alephs, 411s, 3 Heys, 3 times 15, 2 Yuds, 2 times 20, and 1 Hey, 15 equals 544. Okay, where are we going with this? 184. This is the backwards, this is the regressive iteration, or the backwards number value of Havaya and Ekia. 184 and 544, 728, which is the value of the word tishkach, which means you shall forget. Tuf is 400, Shin is 300, Kaf is 20, and Ches is 8, 728. So what we see is that the expanded spelling of the front of Havaya plus Ekia equals Zachor was 2, I think 2 233,
233.
and then the regressive iteration, the backward value of Havaya and Ekia together is the word tishkach, which means to forget. You shall forget. Okay, I hope we're all following the math.
Yeah.
Continue. Go ahead, Jim.
In contrast, the back of these parts of the theme are manifest as regressive iterations of these two names, Chavaya and Ekia, the numerical value of the spelling out of which, using the letter Yud, is the same as that of the word for you will forget, Tishkach. The regressive iteration of the name Chavaya is Yud, Yud Hey, Vav, Yud Hey, Vav Hey. The spelling out of it using the letter Yud is step one, Yud, Vav Daled, 10 plus 6 plus 4, 22. Yud, Vav Daled, 10 plus 6 plus 4, 20. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15, 3. Yud, Vav Daled, 10 plus 6 plus 4, 20. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15. Vav, Yud, Vav, 6 plus 10 plus 6, 22. 4. Yud, Vav Daled, 10 plus 6 plus 4, 20. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15. Vav, Yud, Vav, 6 plus 10 plus 6, 22. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15. Total, 184. The regressive iteration of the name Ekia is Aleph, Hey, Yud, Yud, Hey. Spelling out of this iteration using the letter Yud is step one, Aleph, Lamed, Hey. 1 plus 30 plus 80 is 111. 2, Aleph, Lamed, Hey. 1 plus 30 plus 80 is 111. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10 is 15. 3, Aleph, Lamed, Pei. 1 plus 30 plus 80 is 111. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15. Yud, Vav, Daled, 10 plus 6 plus 4 is 20. 4, Aleph, Lamed, Pei. 1 plus 30 plus 80 is 111. Hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15. Yud, Vav, Daled, 10 plus 6 plus 4, 20. And hey, Yud, 5 plus 10, 15. 544. 184 plus 544 is 728. Tishkach, Tov, Shin, Kaf, Chet is 400 plus 300 plus 20 plus 8, 728.
Okay, thank you. Excellent. 10. Forgetfulness is obviously associated with the backside. Since we are talking about learning, it is the backside of Abba and Ima and the backward value of Havaya and Ekia. Klipa can only attach to the backside, and forgetfulness can only occur where there is klipa.
Forgetfulness originates in these two backs because the forces of evil can only latch onto the back of a partziv, and forgetfulness comes only when evil latches on. Regarding these two principles, it is written in the Torah, remember, do not forget. The words for you shall forget, tishkach, serves also as the imperative when phrased in the negative.
Well, let me go. 11. So the Torah says to never forget what Amalek did to us. Amalek is one of the worst klipas. Regarding Amalek, the Torah says, Zachor al tishkach. Remember, don't forget. The word tishkach, which is you shall forget, the word lo adds the word don't, has the gematria of 728, as we said. Okay, 12. Ima, understanding, has two components, bina and tavuna, and both of them mean understanding. You might be able to find a synonym that can give it that you'll find another word for it. Basically, they both mean understanding, bina and tavuna. Elsewhere, the Arizal explains that they are associated with the letters samach and mem. I am not familiar with that. I can't explain why samach and mem are connected with bina and tavuna. It could be that the samach is a letter that's a complete circle, and the closed mem, the final mem, is also a complete circle. or a square. They're the only two letters where that have a middle that's not connected at all with outside the letter. So it could be that's why, I don't know. The name of the angel of forgetfulness is these two letters, except in reverse order. Mem Samach, or he says here, Mas.
Does
I have,
Rashi, doesn't Rashi say that the mem is a pregnant woman?
The closed mem. We
Yeah.
did that. We had that all the way in the beginning of the book, connected with the 40 days of the flood in Parshas Noach. It talked about the 40 days. Um, the in Jewish law, the fetus is viable after, or the fetus is viable, or the pregnancy. Yeah, I guess you say that is viable after 40 days. I guess 40 days from conception. And then the flood was 40 days, and the Mabul begins with the letter Mem, which is the number 40. So I think we talked about it then. Okay, go ahead. I have already told you.
I've already told you that Ima comprises two aspects known as Bina and Tavuna. They are indicated by the two letters Samach and Mem, as we have explained elsewhere. Therefore, the angel of forgetfulness is called Mas. The reason being he is derived from the two backs of Bina and Tavuna, as indicated by the letters Samach and Mem, as stated. Therefore, the evil opposite them is called Mas. Bina is abstract understanding. Tavuna is applied understanding. Mas is spelled Mem Samach, indicating the back or reverse of Bina and Tavuna.
Okay. So since it's forgetfulness, it's backwards. The klipa associated with the backs of Havaya and Nekia is the klipa associated with forgetfulness. As we said, the regressive iteration of expanded spelling of Havaya and Nekia is 721, 728, the same as Tishkach, you shall forget. I'm not sure if this paragraph adds anything new or if it restates what was said before. Jim, thank you very much. Abigail, would you like to continue? 874.
Since the numerical value of the spelling out of of the regressive iterations of Abba and Ima, indicating their backs, equals that of the word for you will forget, as mentioned, this evil angel is given charge over forgetfulness.
Okay. And they write evil. If you've noticed, I don't translate klipa as evil. I don't know a good translation, so I keep the word klipa. 14. Now, the Talmud teaches that there's no comparison between someone who reviews his lesson 100 times and someone who reviews 101 times. In olden times, before the printing press, people could not Google a topic or even pull a book off the shelf to look something up. Everything had to be stored in your memory. It was common for people to review their lesson 100 times to commit it to memory. The Talmud teaches that if someone would review just one more time, it was a quantum leap. It entered a whole new thing. The difference between 100 and 101 is far greater than the difference between 99 and 100. In the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe compares it to l'shuk shel chamarim, to a like a taxi service. There it says donkey, but a taxi service or a transport service that they have one one rate up till a certain point. Once you leave that point, then the rates change. even whether it does, and it doesn't matter if you go a few yards past that point or much farther. Actually, my son years ago learned in yeshiva in Toronto, and the yeshiva is on Bathurst and Lincoln, and that is outside of a certain zone. You get a surcharge. So the boys would get dropped off a block or two earlier, and then walk probably a couple short blocks with their suitcase up to the yeshiva. So here, if the difference between 100 and 101 is far greater than the difference between 99 and 100. It's interesting to note that the angel in charge of forgetfulness is Mas, which has a gematria of 440 plus 60, 100. I guess that for 100 you commit it to memory, but maybe it's not sealed in your memory. The way you really get it is to do the extra time 101. It's hard for us to understand what's the difference. I know I would probably lose count, by the sixth time or maybe by the fourth time. Who's keeping count 100 times? But okay. Okay, Elisheva, go ahead.
This is alluded to by our sage's words. Someone who reviews his lessons only 100 times cannot be compared to someone who reviews his lessons 101 times. This saying is not an exaggeration, but is meant to be taken literally, since the numerical value of the name of the angel Mas is 100. Thus, the angel Mas has the power to make someone who reviews his lesson up to 100 times forget it, while if he reviews it more than this, this angel cannot make him forget it. Mas is mem samic equals 40 plus 60 equals 100.
Okay. 15. In Targum Yonasan, it says that the name of the angel who greeted Moshe at the burning bush is, and in our class we call him Ziggy. I think this is the only time that it comes up. That's spelled, the first half of his name is Zigan, and the second half of his name is Zigoel, but we can call him Ziggy for short. His name is written with variations in other places. Apparently, this angel taught Moshe Torah at the burning bush and is an angel in charge of memory. The value of his name is 7 plus 3 plus 50 plus 7 plus 3 plus 1 plus 30 is 101. Can you guys hold on a second?
This is my favorite chapter in Tanya.
Very nice.
But Mas means forgetfulness, which completely destroys the connection between Spanish and Torah.
No, no mas, no mas,
Mas.
no mas.
No Guillermo.
Yeah, no.
What does mas mean in Spanish?
No more, no more,
No more.
No
It means
more?
no
it means-
mas.
more. And here we're saying it's not more.
But
So-
that's what it's no mas, no more.
Yeah.
This is a standard Mikros Gedolos Chumash, Book of Shmos. And this is, so you're probably familiar with the Targum Onkelos. The translation of Onkelos, the convert, was from the nobility of Rome. And he translated, that's very popular. There is also another translation by Rabbi Yonasan ben Uziel. I think it's also known as Targum Yerushalmi. Within it is Yerushalmi, Targum Yonasan ben Uziel. And over here, and that's a translation with more elaboration. And it says, Moshe hava ra'iyas ana di Yisro chamoy. Moshe grazed, he shepherded the sheep of his father-in-law Yisro, Rabba de Midian, the priest of Midian, the rabbi of Midian. Udvar yas'ana lasar shvar raya lachori madbara. And he took the sheep to a good grazing place past the desert. Vasal letavra deiskli Allah yakar dashem l'charv. And he came to the mountain where the glory of Hashem appeared to him, Chorev. Beis. Veiskele zag nu gael malacha dashem lei. The angel of Hashem, and here it says the name Zag Nu Gael, of the angel of Hashem appeared to him, Belave Eshasa in the flame of fire, Migos Sanya from the bush, Bahama he looked, Vahasan Sanya Mashi Eshasa, the bush was on fire, Visanya Leso Yakid, the bush was not getting burnt, Umisachel Benura, or consumed by the fire. So over here, he adds in a lot of interesting things. Over here, he adds in the name of the angel that's not written in the Torah. But officially, it's a translation of Torah. Actually, when it says when Yonasan ben Uziel, I think wanted to translate the Ksuvim, the scriptures, which includes the book of Daniel, and Mashiach will come, the earth shook. And I think Hashem prevented him, stopped him. So that is that angel that we'll call Zigis. He taught Moshe. Okay, 16. That's not in the book. That's a freebie. 16. Our rabbis teach that there are foods that induce. So my point here is that the angel of memory equals 100, or its value is 100. The angel of forgetfulness is 100. The angel of memory is 101. Our rabbis teach that there are foods that induce forgetfulness. One of these is olives. This is only true if the person eats them without holy intentions. Eating should be done for the sake of serving Hashem. Eating olives with proper intent actually improves memory. The person also repairs the olives, meaning he connects them with holiness. At the bottom of 874.
Also, our
Mhm.
our sages state that there are foods that promote forgetfulness when eaten, such as olives, etc. But know that this is true only if someone eats them without proper mystical intentions, like an ignoramus. In contrast, whoever eats olives with the mystical intentions, we will explain in our comments to Parshas Akev, on the verse, "You shall eat and be satisfied," improves his memory, since he is eating them with proper mystical intentions that help him purify and rectify them, as will be explained.
17. Our sages also say that reading a tombstone causes a person to forget his learning. This only applies to writing that protrudes from the stone. It does not apply to writing that is etched into the stone. So either if you have letters that attach to the stone, or if you etch out around the letters and you leave protruding letters. But if the letters are etched into the stone, then it does not cause forgetfulness.
If someone's making a book and on the book cover you get a choice where you can have it protrude or be etched into it, is that a thing? Do you have any idea?
No.
Right. Regarding our sage's statement that someone who reads what is written on a tombstone forgets his learning, this applies only to writing that protrudes from the stone, not to writing that is etched into the stone.
Okay, 18. There's also meditation to cure forgetfulness for Sim Shalom, the last bracha of the Shemona Esrei.
There is also another mystical mediation that rectifies forgetfulness that is elucidated in our explanations of the final blessing in the morning Amida. Examine this. I also wrote another meditation in Shar Ruach HaKodesh that helps memory.
And finally, the meditations when entering a shul are associated with Malchus. A beis medrash where Torah is studied is holier than a shul where prayer takes place. The meditation for a beis medrash is associated with the regressive iteration of the name Ekyeh as it expanded with Yud. Now we said back in number 9, hopefully you remember and haven't forgotten, that the value of Ekia in regressive iteration is 544. Remember, that's 4 olives, 3 hays, 2 yuds, and 1 olive and 1 hay. This is the same as medrash. Mem dalad reshin, 4 plus 40 plus 200 plus 300 is 544. Apparently, meditating on the regressive iteration of Ekia with the value of 544 helps prevent forgetfulness when a person enters the base medrash to study Torah.
Despite having 4 olives.
Yeah, 4 olives.
Anyway.
That's right.
It has also been explained regarding the house of study that there is a meditation a person should perform when entering a synagogue, as we have explained, and it concerns the Sephira of Malchus. But the holiness of a house of study exceeds that of a synagogue, and the meditation performed when entering it is that the numerical value of the back. No, when entering it is that the numerical value of the back of the name Ekia, indicated by its regressive iteration, spelled out with the letter Yud, is the same as the numerical value of study. The idiom for house of study is Beis Midrash. Midrash equals Mem Dalid. Reish Shin, 40 plus 4 plus 200 plus 300 equals 544. We have seen above that the numerical value of the regressive iteration of the name Ekia, spelled out with the letter Yud, is also 544.
Okay.
Cool chapter.
Cool.
Cool for me. I'm doing a lot on forgetfulness. It says that if you dry your hands on your shirt, it causes you to forget your Torah.
I didn't look up the Gemara there where they're listed. He did have the source. I do remember in high school there was a boy who did poorly on the test and cried to the teacher, to the rabbi, that it wasn't his fault. He went to bed with the socks on. He put his shirt on 2 at a time. He took the stairs 2 at a time, and therefore, and he walked away from his open book, and therefore it wasn't his fault. So when I read it, I think sometimes that I have to look up the original. I wonder if it's not so much a sign for a cause for forgetfulness as a sign of absent-mindedness. It seems like a person is absent-minded if they may be absent-minded if they do these things. One of the things I found interesting, it says that that malchus, that the feminine component is connected with forgetfulness. I don't know. I find my wife always reminds me of things that I need to remember. I assume most people, many people have that, if not most. But okay.
Do you know if there's any hint of the concept of forgetfulness connected to Chava making a mistake about the command?
I don't think so.
Figure out if there's a tie. So
Not offhand.
not that you can think of.
Hmm.
Can I ask another question? Have you ever thought about this? If Adam's connected like a Siamese twin to Chava, why is he looking for a wife? Well, I guess they're both looking for a mate, right? I mean,
I'm gonna say, well, she was behind him. He didn't see her.
maybe.
They were back to back.
I'm sure he heard her back there.
No, the farthest you could be from someone, I heard her, is if someone's looking the other way. It
Maybe
could
God
be
put
that
the
she wasn't
commandment
brought to life
in
yet.
language.
Yeah, it could be she wasn't brought to life yet. She was attached with, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't have an answer. And by the way, I'll say that every once in a while I get like bombarded with some questions from a friend, from a guy I know, who will say, who learns with a few people during the week, and he'll say, they asked me this question, they asked me that question, and this, and they have this idea, and that's not the right answer, and so on and so forth. I keep telling them they don't need the right answer. They ask a good question, they think the answer is this, it's not what's written in the sources, it's okay. let them think of their answer. It's okay, you know, and it happens, just happened, I think yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm gonna